Hello, hello. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for sticking around this long. My name's Irfan. I was most recently a tech lead at Snapchat, working on the recommendation algorithm, and prior worked at Amazon. Interstate's about 8 months old, and it's a company going on Series A, working on essentially making Ethereum block times faster. Yeah. So what is Interstate? Um, um, Interstate is effectively a way to send transactions on Ethereum and have them be confirmed at the same speed as Solana. So we enable instant transaction confirmations on ETH L1. So what this means is that if you send money to a friend on ETH L1, right now you wait 12 seconds for the first confirmation. Very soon you will not have to wait that long. Underlying what we look like is we look like an alternative block building pipeline to Flashbots. So our code and our deployment is very similar to a Flashbot style. You have a relay, a dedicated block builder, and a sidecar that sits on validators. Yeah, there's lots of interests in. There's a lot of projects that want dedicated access to Ethereum block space. Effectively get near instant confirmations on ETH L1. We're working with this is applicable to like nearly every app on ETH L1. So we're working with like something like 25% of the Ethereum L1 validator set are testing us at the moment on Hootie. That's like a couple billion in stake weight pointed towards us, a couple 10 billion in stake weight pointed towards us. We've got like a pretty large ecosystem. Working with like every major Ethereum validator. So working with folks like Kiln, Kelp, Symbiotic, Figment, Blockdaemon, PDP. Yeah. Effectively, the deployment and the setup looks parallel to Flashbots. You've essentially got an MEV sidecar on the validator that picks blocks that have pre-confs and other proposer commitments. You have a relay system and you have a block building pipeline. Cool. Yeah, so the first use case is quite straightforward. The idea is that you can send a transaction on ETH L1 instantly. So right now you can use L2s, which is like a totally separate blockchain. So you use Arbitrum, it's a totally separate blockchain. You get an instant confirmation. With this change, you can, instead of using Arbitrum, you can get the same confirmation time on L1. So instead of using like, for example, like L2, like an L2 DEX, you can send the same transaction on like Uniswap on ETH L1 and get a wallet confirmation instantly, the same way you would on Solana. So we're essentially unifying Solana and Ethereum's transaction times, which is I think extremely exciting. Yeah. So effectively. So effectively, our use case to validators is that we enable validators to monetize block space. So effectively, you can do things like sell block futures. You can right now the MEV pipeline has been like there's not been a lot of innovation there. Like you've had like one company, Flashbots, which is effectively like had a monopoly on the way it's had Flashbots is like infrastructure is what's used by like all block builders today. There's not been much innovation there. It works the same way as it's always done. Validators effectively outsource block building to centralized block builders. These block builders propose the highest value block possible, and it goes back to validators. There's not many features in the block building, so but there's not a lot of features in block building. We add new features like block space futures, instant confirmations, blob features, dynamic blob pricing. We allow apps to get direct access to L1 block space. So yeah, it opens up a lot of things. Yeah, since I'm at 30 seconds, so I'm going to speed through the rest of this. Yeah, so there's a lot of people interested in this. Validators want to earn additional rewards. DeFi apps like want to self-sequence. So instead of leaking MEV to block builders, you can self-sequence, submit via our infra, and you've shielded yourself from MEV as an app. You also get instant confirmations on L1. For payments use cases, if you're sending a transaction, you want to get an instant pre-conf. You want to get an instant confirmation. You don't want to wait 12 seconds at the counter to get to be able to send transaction on L1. So it's very useful for payments use cases. And layer 2s are using us. We have
Right.
oh yeah, we have Rome and a few others, a few other L2s that are actually actively using us today. We've got like 30 projects in our eco. Yeah, cool. Cool. I'm out of time, so we monetize by selling block space features effectively. Yeah, I'll open up to questions, or I can go through this, whichever.
So first question is, for 30 seconds, talk about how you make money.
Sure. First off, I think the focus on validator APY is a little short-sighted. First off, increasingly we see validators that want to like just increase APY at the cost of the network. So for example, with things like MEV, you have validators that are like trying to earn 2%, but where does that come from? It comes from sandwiching users, and users actually leave the L1. So by trying to force yourself to earn 2% off of MEV boost, what you actually do is the users go to L2s, and the L2s extract zero MEV. And they extract all the sequencing revenue. So I think we do increase validator rewards by pre-comps. We allow apps to buy block space in advance, and they pay a slight premium for that. As a validator, you earn like 0.3%, including token rewards for doing the service. But more than that, it's you are enabling new features on Ethereum that make it competitive with Solana. You enable the feature of instant confirmations on L1, which is massive. Like right now today, users complain that's super slow. It's expensive to use ETH1, so no one's using it. They all use L2s or Solana. L2s today pay like trivial amounts of DA fees. I think like base fee is like 10K a week or something to Ethereum L1 and collect like 100 million a year in revenue. So if this trend continues, all the revenue, all the transaction volume leaves L1, goes to L2s and Solana, and the ETH L1s are just drained of any value accrual. So more than actually even the a lot of validators are joining on just because like they think this is important to actually the utility of Ethereum. It's important that transactions on Ethereum are fast from a UX perspective. And if you're holding billions of dollars of Ethereum, you want to enable features that make Ethereum fast and more usable. So and this is like echoed by we're working with like every major validator operator on Ethereum, like 24% of stake weight. They all see the importance of this. But the APY is relatively small. It's like 0.3%, but that's less important than bringing the transaction volume back to L1.
I have a question. This is not the first pre-conf project I hear about. I didn't get what was the unique selling point compared to these other projects.
Yeah, we've got private that'll come up in a little bit. I think our infra is parallel to Flashbots, so we've got the relay, the builder, and we've got like a map sidecar. In terms of differentiation, I think like right now Prime has I think has like 1% of validator set. We are launching on mainnet with Pectra, so we're more focused on launching and actually providing a unified experience. So rather than wanting the request to be super different every time you use like a different provider, we want it to be very uniform. So at least in our case, at least in our case, we want the request to be uniform. And then where the differences are kind of in the details. We think like our service is higher fidelity. You'll get the response. It's more reliable. So yeah.
Maybe one question I'll ask in terms of GTM. You have some pretty very good partners. Are you going to leverage those in order to speak to a higher part of the market? How does that look?
Could you repeat the question?
Okay. In terms of GTM, what exactly is your strategy here? Are you looking to deploy examples with some of the partners you already showed us, which are really cool? Congratulations on that, by the way. What does that look like?
Yeah. So we've already got a few L2s using us. We've got Rome, a new based L2. We've got people like Rise, Fire. So we have like a pretty large cohort of L2s that Tycho, people that and we think actually we're pretty confident that every L2 will use a pre-conf. And then on the wallet side, we've got like wallets that are integrating. So like Rabby wallet, Sorry, not Rabby, Zerion wallet. We're integrating with now. We're integrating with. We're speaking with folks like MetaMask and Rabby. On the app side, we've got like 2-3 dozen apps. People like CrossMint, apps like Rift, a few others. So yeah, we've got more demand that we can handle. We'll be on mainnet with Pectro on May 7th. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.